Well, they did do a survey.
All right, I think we're good. Are we good?
But the teachers were, they supplied them.
Okay, I'd like to call Mr. Layfield up for the invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us this beautiful day and for giving us this opportunity to come together and to serve our children and families. Please be with this board as they make decisions and help keep us all focused on the reason for being here tonight. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Can I call this meeting to order tonight? A roll call of members: Mrs. Howerton, Mr. Brantley, Mrs. Compton-Twist, Mrs. Shoup, Mrs. Blackman, stepping in for Superintendent Dr. Longshore, School Board Attorney, Mr. John McClure, our esteemed Board Secretary, Mrs. Wilburn, and myself, Chairman, Mr. Durrance. So now we would like to turn it over for the character word in the program of tonight, which will be Charity, presented by Park Elementary School. And I think they're going to be right here, so if you want to go and watch, I think they'll be.
No, sir. No. Mama made it to we're good. We're good.
The word for December is charity, benevolent goodwill toward or love of all humanity. For I was hungry and you fed me, I was thirsty and you gave me a drink, I was a stranger and you invited me into your home.
In charity lies happiness and bliss. If you haven't done charity, you may miss the power to love and share. Charity gives you happiness beyond compare.
All right, so we have one more song for you guys today because they begged of me to let them do it. So it bears just a very brief introduction, this song. At the first thought, piñata really doesn't make you think of charity or generosity and such, but actually the Mexican tradition of the Christmas piñata, there are 7 points to the piñata. Each one represents one of the 7 things that can kind of trip us up in life. The stick that is used to hit it represents love, which can break through all of those things. So that is why and how I was able to make this work for you tonight. So please lighten up and have a little fun with piñata. Their name and their grade level. You guys got that? Do you know your name?
Yes.
You know what grade you're in?
Yeah.
Whew.
Elijah DeGan, 5th grade.
Lucas McGee, 5th grade. Stevana Howard, 4th grade.
Zalia Howard, 5th grade.
Matthias Joel, 4th grade.
Elisa Hernandez, 5th grade.
Adrian Mendez.
Jocelyn Monday, 5th grade.
Isadora Perez, 5th grade.
Terrion Brown, 5th grade.
Isabella Sanderland, 5th grade.
Marissa Rodriguez, 5th grade. Sarah Tapia, 4th grade.
Donovan Pleva, 4th grade.
Addison Baker, 5th grade.
Chloe McNown, 4th grade.
Elizabeth Googe, 4th grade.
Darian Barrera, 4th grade.
McCoy Pollitt, 4th grade. Mika Painter, 4th grade.
Myla Jenkins, 4th grade.
Jackson Dyer, 4th grade.
And since you wanted to know that, the students who are before you that perform tonight are the students whose work is being done and it's being done well. And their teacher didn't mind releasing them for extra musical practice with me and such. So to you parents that came, awesome job. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing and raising them up as you are. I enjoy them. I hope you all enjoyed them today. We thank you.
Oh, snuck in. I was working on his hand outside.
Is it okay?
I'm so thankful I could do it.
I try to get here and stay out of.
What a wonderful performance. What a great job. Thank you. Do we have any school board member committee reports? Okay, we have one petition, and it's Linda Maltabano, and the subject is restraint and seclusion report. So if you can come up and give your name again, and then you'll have start the timer. And Mrs. Wilburn gets an opportunity.
Linda Montalbano, and I'm a special education advocate who helps parents all over the country, especially in Florida. And this is not something that happened here in Highlands. It happened in Manatee School District on September 22nd. My concerns are the following. One is we're supposed to do restraint and seclusion reports within 24 hours. That wasn't done in Manatee. And two, that when school safety officers are only supposed to be called if it's absolutely necessary because of fear of bodily injury and harm. They are not there to go for a principal who has decided that a child doesn't belong on her campus and she wants her to have a severe consequence. And to use the SRO, a male SRO, restrained the child, and then two SROs with no female in the room searched the child. It was a girl. Nobody was there but the SROs. I have a video and it shows this. The school attorney is our school attorney now, Amy Pitch. And I have concern because she supports and is fully approvable of what was done. And I don't want to see any of our children here be treated like that. I'm confident that's not something that we will do. But I wanted to bring it to your attention that if we do restrain a child, and it's a girl, I want to make sure there's a female there to body search her, which I have on video. Anyone want to see this video? You are welcome to see it. I can forward a copy of it. Amy Pitch had arranged with Judge Clevenger that she has a right to do discovery. When we asked for the videos from the school, her response was to threaten us with unauthorized practice of law because we did what Judge Clevenger said we'd be allowed to do. Amy Pitch makes money every time she writes something like that up. Amy Pitch writes documents to fight to make sure that children don't get a due process hearing. And she fights to see to it that all children don't receive a free and appropriate public education against the children. And that's part of why I'm here today. Because one of the other things she does with this discovery is she demands to do depositions of parents, that parents are required to do interrogatories. Do you even know what that is? But if you ask for a due process hearing in Highlands County, she'll demand these things as she demands them in Manatee County. So my concerns are financially, it's going to cost if we have to go to hearing. I filed a hearing here and it got immediately resolved with Pam Lanier. And the only reason I filed it is because Amy Pitch is your attorney and I was concerned that to go in, but I worked it out with Pam Lanier. I'm not going to file the next one. I will talk to her. And that's what I've been doing the past several years. That's why you haven't seen a hearing. But she's now your attorney. And she does things. I can provide you with videos. I can provide you with documents. And she does not make life easy for the children or the parents. All right? Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Today, December 7th, is designated as a remembrance of Pearl Harbor, and this year is the 80th anniversary. Tonight, we'd like to give recognition to those who were at Pearl Harbor, as well as veterans that are involved in the military service, past and present. So if there are any veterans in our attendance tonight or in the audience, we just ask you if you would please stand for just a moment so that we could thank and acknowledge your service. Thank you and acknowledge you for your service.
Somebody has to do it.
I remember lots of stories my granddaddy would tell me as a World War II veteran, so special day. I want to make a reminder of the special board meeting on December 9th at 5:30 and request an executive session after the December 9th meeting.
Thank you. A motion to adopt the agenda.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mrs. Howerton, a second from Mrs. Shoup. Any public comment? Back to the board for discussion. Mrs. Howerton?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
Mrs. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Motion to approve consent agenda items as presented.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mrs. Howerton, a second from Mr. Brantley. Any public comment? Back to the board for discussion. Mrs. Howerton?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Ms. Shoup?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Consider approval of expulsions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion from Mrs. Shoup, a second from Ms. Compton Twist. Any discussion with the board? Okay. Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Mrs. Howerton?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. 10B, consider approval of resolution 2122-10 adopting the proposed boundary changes for the 5 school board member districts.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Howerton, a second from Mrs. Shoup. Public discussion? Any board discussion? Pretty straightforward, I think so. Okay, Mrs. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Shoup?
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Didn't put anybody out of their district, did
And then and the chair votes yes.
they? I think you ended up with quite a bit out here.
Yeah, I had just a couple of
I got a few more.
additions, but yeah, okay. Well, we're growing a little bit
We
as a
are.
community,
They've
so
got it
that's a
kind
good
of
thing.
number-wise.
Okay.
Even. Yeah.
10C, consider approval of agreement between School Board of Highlands County and TPG Cultural Exchange Services.
Well, I just want to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to come up and
I'll usually do a motion first, but we can.
Do we need a motion?
oh, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I got it.
Second for discussion.
Okay.
I actually did call Hardy County. They were not familiar with it.
I was just speaking to her about Hardy, and she
She's like-
said no. She said DeSoto. So I wanted to
Okay,
apologize.
okay, no, that's fine, but they said we might be looking into it.
I said something about Hardy, and she was like, no, it's DeSoto. So I do
Well, I knew
apologize.
something
That was
in
my
DeSoto.
mistake.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
that was my mistake.
And I'm sure Mr. McClure has looked at the contract.
I have, thank you.
Okay, and then I'm trying to figure out I was kind of looking at what level are these people, and, what background do they have?
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Sujatha. Thank you all for having us here today. We appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. We recruit teachers from all over the world.
Okay.
They need to meet certain minimum level qualifications to receive this visa, the J1 visa. They need to meet certain qualifications to join our program, and then they need to meet certain qualifications for the Florida DOE as well. So those are all requirements that they have. For the J1 visa itself, they are required to have the equivalent of a 4-year U.S. bachelor's degree in education. So there's a number of third-party agencies that are approved by the Florida DOE to do that evaluation and to determine whether the degree that they got in their home country is the equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's in education here. So that's the first thing. The second is that they're required to have at least 2 years of full-time lead classroom teacher experience at a K-12 school that is accredited in their home country. And so we receive notarized letters from all of them that are signed on their school letterhead, and we verify all of that. They're required to be currently teaching. So, they can't be working in a different job right now, and maybe they taught 15 years ago. They are currently actively involved as a teacher. And they are required to be fluent in English. And we go through a number of rounds of interviews with our team in order to determine their English fluency. But they are also going to do a live interview on Zoom with whoever principal or HR director would be interested in hiring them. And so you are speaking to them real time to hear their English. They will have an accent that's different than the accent in Florida. Hear their accent and make sure that the principal is comfortable with that before they decide to move forward. So those are the J1 visa qualifications. And then, we are also checking against the Florida DOE certification requirements to ensure that they meet the certification requirements for their subject area in order to be able to teach that subject area in the state of Florida. So whether it's a certain number of credit requirements typically and a certain coursework. So we're checking their transcripts for all of that information.
So how many teachers might be at DeSoto County on this?
Oh, in DeSoto we have 22 teachers.
Currently this
that are
program.
currently there. In Okeechobee we have 13 teachers, and in Polk, which I guess is also fairly close, we have 60 teachers. Yeah. And about a little over 220 in the state of Florida.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, it looks like if things don't work out, there's a way to
Absolutely.
work for both parties.
Yes, they would be on your standard employment contract, so the same way, that a local American educator would be on that contract, and if things didn't work out, you could move forward with whatever process would be standard for your contract with any educator. And yeah, the payment works in such that you're paying for the teachers while they're here working in the district. So if someone, let's say, weren't working out and they left mid-year, or you decided to let them go mid-year, it would be a prorated fee for the terms of the contract. And then obviously the fee, it's a cost-neutral program in that you don't pay towards the retirement system for them since they're not retiring here in the state. And then we sponsor their health insurance so that they're on health insurance that meets the Department of State requirements for individuals on a J1 visa. And so between those two buckets, the program ends up being cost neutral.
So do we pay you and you pay them?
No, they are your employees.
Okay.
So they're receiving a salary directly from the district the same way that a standard educator would receive a salary. You're paying us a fee in order to sponsor their health insurance.
Okay.
And I saw that, I believe you, Ms. Ball, you said that would be a term of between 3 and 5 years, depending on.
So the visa is initially issued for 3 years, and then at the conclusion of the 3rd year, they can apply for an extension for 2 more years. So they stay for up to 5 years. We have about a 93% retention rate year over year. So they do tend to stay. But of course, as I said before, if anything weren't working out, they're on your standard district contract, so you don't have to have them stay for that period of time if you don't want to.
And I will say that along with Dr. Longshore, we did reach out to the superintendent of Okeechobee to see how the process went for them, and they were very positive about the process. They said the biggest challenge was the it was them, the culture, I think, them coming into the schools, because it is a little different. But I know Sajada had mentioned that they do offer additional assistance with their candidates that we hire to help them acclimate to the area, to to the United States.
Customs.
Yeah, American students are different than children in other parts of the world. And obviously, you know, every culture is different. And so we begin our training in January for the teachers who are coming in August. And we're doing regular webinars with them to give them a sense of what that American classroom might look like. What does classroom management mean here in the United States? You know, what does equity look like in the United States? So we have all of that built into the professional development curriculum that we have for them. But there's nothing like stepping into a classroom for the first time in the United States. You know, they're all experienced educators in their home countries, but there is that cultural difference. I would say the first 3 months are the time when we really focus the most and collaborate the most with principals and, you know, other administrators within the building to make sure we're providing that support. But for the most part, once they're kind of in their groove, around this time of year, my phone is very quiet. So, you know, they're kind of in their groove and off to races.
And of course, the different world that we're in with the COVID situation, they would have a pre-check or something before they leave their country.
So the CDC is now requiring that you get tested for COVID within a day of your flight to the United States.
Okay.
You're also, you know, the Biden administration has required that anyone flying to the United States be vaccinated. So both of those things have been checked before they get here. And then we actually have them, we support them in a 3-day quarantine upon arrival at a hotel, and then they get tested again when they leave the hotel before they enter into the community. So that's something that we provide for them to make sure everyone feels comfortable.
You touched on this, but housing, are they on their own to find housing, or do you help them, or do we help them?
We work with them pretty closely. We also work closely with the community. So if there are principals in particular that are hiring, you know, working with HR and just getting an understanding of the area. We have local liaisons who are here in Florida. So the person who's closest to here would probably be in Orlando, and she is in Okeechobee all the time. So it's a pretty easy trip up. But absolutely, you know, we also encourage local community members. If you know of anything, if you have any leads or know of anything available, we absolutely, you know, build those partnerships so that we can help support them. We do have, we issue them an interest-free loan upon arrival in order to help them with that transition. And so what we're able to do is help them with security deposits and things like that before they arrive here, so that they have something when they reach or something is available. And if something's not available when they reach, then we'll work with them on, you know, an extended stay or something like that until they're able to move into something more permanent.
Good.
Motions from Mrs. Shoup and a second from Mr. Brantley. Is there any public comment on what was discussed? Any more board comment? Okay. Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes. Okay, so policies 13A to 13E were in development, so I guess I'll go through these. 13A, 5780.01 Parent Bill of Rights. 13B is 5780 Student Parent Rights for Adoption. 13C for public hearing is 8405 School Safety and Security. 13D is 8407 Safe Schools Officers. And 13E, Board Policy 9150 School Visitors for Adoption.
Make a motion to approve.
We need to do them separately? One for adoption, one for, see, it's broken up there.
That was all development. 13A
A through E you could do separately, and F through I separately.
Okay, so that was A through E that we discussed there.
And there's a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, I'll confirm with the board secretary that this is published. Okay, return to you, sir, for public comment.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and then putting through public comment. Okay.
Good evening. Larry Overfield, concerned citizen, property owner, taxpayer. And what happened, man? I'm gone one meeting.
You started this room.
I've read over some of this, the public hearing for the school board policy for parents' rights, student rights for BNC, okay? A little bit of wording I have a problem with here. Okay, it seems to me like it's going to end up leading to socialism, to me, okay? But then I think differently than the rest of you anyway, so just bear with me for a minute. But you know, this, to make healthcare decisions for, this is C, healthcare decisions, to make healthcare decisions for minor child unless otherwise prohibited by law. Okay, that's kind of broad, all right? I know what the point is, but it's to me it's kind of broad. I think it should be worded a little bit differently. Not that you're going to change that or anything, but I know John.
Well, let me say this to you, Larry. You may not be aware of this. There's a doctrine called in loco parentis. Okay, so the schools are considered acting in place of the parents when the students are enrolled on our campus. We have to be, because there's so many decisions that need to be made from time to time, and that's all that's saying.
Right. Well, that's because they're giving you their consent to do that. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, but some of the other things to me is like let's go to D. It says to access and review all medical records of their minor child unless prohibited by law or by parent, or if the parent is subject to an investigation of a crime committed against a child. I can understand that, okay? But this is investigation. It's like this guy's already, the mother or father is already convicted, it sounds like to me, you know. Now I know that there's going to be situations where it's going to be rather obvious, okay? And then you got to step in. But to me, the wording it's a little scary, okay? The other one is the DNA thing. Say is okay except as required by general law or authorized pursuant to a court order. Now, when I hear that, this is what I hear. I hear Hillary Clinton saying it takes a village to raise a child. Excuse me? My wife mostly raised our child. Larry was stupid, you know, wasn't there all the time. But, you know, it takes a parent to raise a child, okay? I know I'm getting a little broad here, but just please bear with me. I'm going to end on there. Then I looked at some of the statutes, okay? See, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of, was that 1040? Where is it? Oh, here it is, okay. Florida Statute 102.20. I didn't have time to read this. Yeah. And I can guarantee you that there's a lot of other people that didn't even bother to read it, okay? I understand, I don't have any children in this school. My son graduated from this school. He after retired, he graduated from this school. And you guys did a great job with him. And I think every teacher here that had any work with him, you know, because I know what he was like, okay? He was a coward, he was hard, and I was behind whatever the teacher said, okay? I told Shane, you get paddling in school, you get home, you get paddling, okay? That's just the way it is. But the thing is that, you know, we don't, let me say that. What went on here this evening with these children? The first thing that was read was scripture. I thought that was great, okay? We have taken biblical teaching out of our schools because of these statutes, okay? And mostly because of the federal government. That's scary. What they're trying to do now, instead of teaching morality, we're trying to legislate morality. Good luck with that. You know how well that's going to work, don't you? It hasn't worked in years, okay? They're afraid to use corporal punishment in schools because of lawsuits. Well, I wish around when I was going to school. I've had boards broken on my hiney, you know. But you know what? It did me some good. Now I'm not, you know, promoting that type of action. But occasionally, there's places where education has got to be strong. Okay, we don't teach the background of our founding fathers in our Constitution anymore. Okay, we don't, because federal government won't allow us to say certain or teach certain things. because of separation of church and state, which, by the way, is not in the Constitution, okay? That phrase is not in the Constitution. But the courts say that, you know, we got to have separation of church and state, okay? If we weren't receiving federal money, would we be under those restrictions? I don't think so, would we? Now, I know you're not going to turn down federal money, okay? I guess what I'm trying to say here is we cannot legislate morality. Morality has to be taught, okay? And we know where our founding fathers got their morality from the Bible, okay? We can't teach that in school now because of separation of church and state, wherever that is. Well, by the way, that was in a letter from Thomas Jefferson to the Danbury Church of Connecticut, okay? Virginia. I can't remember which one it was. Anyways, we can't teach things like that anymore. We can't. I guess I'm just frustrated for the fact that, you know, I don't know if any of you know my background. I wasn't the nicest person in the world. Just ask my wife. I don't know why she ever married me, okay? They tried to legislate morality in me for years and it didn't work. Until I started reading the Bible and then I got some morality, okay? But we can't teach that in school anymore, can we? You ain't gonna answer me, are you? I didn't want to put you on, I'm just trying to put you on the spot.
They're allowed to go to the flagpole. Yeah, there's certain things.
There's some things we get away with sometimes.
Well, yeah, you know, and I know if the student asks, you're allowed to expand upon that, okay? But you can't be a leader in that. And to me, as a teacher, you are a leader. That's the way I look at it, you know? It's just like John said. When your kids come to school, then it's like we can take the place of the parents because of the consent there, okay? Well, believe me, once I got saved, my son started hearing it all the time, okay? I'm not pushing my faith on anybody. I'm just trying to push on, what I'm trying to push here is the history of our country, the way our founding fathers saw this. Look at all the Ivy League schools. They can't get rid of all the signs yet. It costs them too much money. But go and read some of the signs on the Ivy League schools.
We like hearing you talk, sir, but I think I've gone past your 5 minutes already.
Well, I didn't see no.
I was watching here.
You were? Okay. I knew you'd speak up.
Sorry.
That's all right. But look,
it's time.
I just, you know, I think that there's some scary situations going on. And I was hoping to be able to speak to all the voters out there. But you guys vote too, so.
Yes.
I thank you for.
Thank you. More public comment? State your name when you come up, and I guess we'll do 5 minutes on this one, right? So, sorry we missed that last time.
Linda Montalbano on the safety school officers. I'd like to see that it says that no male safety officer can bodily search a female child or adult if that situation, but also handcuffing. I believe there's a restriction on how long you can leave a child in handcuffs. And in the video that I have, where they grabbed the child and put her down and handcuffed her with her hands behind her back, she crawled over, crying hysterically, and was able to get her hands to go from her back to the front, coordination of a 12-year-old. They immediately, when she got up again, because she did that, they grabbed her again, smashed her to the floor again, and unhandcuffed one hand and put it to her back again, so her hands are behind her back. The time period on it is not true. October 4th, there was a restraint report made by the SRO. This happened September 22nd, never provided to the parent. In it, they said that she was only in there a short period. I would like to see too that if you are escorting a child who's handcuffed with their hands behind their back, 2 SROs, while the child had her hands behind her back, they had her under her arms, one on each side, and you can hear her going, they're going, move, move faster, and they're virtually dragging her over to the car to take her away. And I just want to make sure that our SROs, that we do not move children like this. And I have, like I said, the video, you can see everything I'm saying, but I want to make sure in our school districts, no males are bodily searching, which I have the 2 male SROs bodily searching this child with no female in the room, because the assistant principal walked out. And she's criminally charged with assault and battery, because when she got up after being handcuffed in a daze and moving around, the SRO says he's the victim because she pushed into him. He's got his hands on her chest and she's going back, and the assistant principal was also brutally assaulted while the child had her hands behind her back as she was staggering around trying to get up. So she's guilty of trying to elope, and this just pushing against them is assault and battery. And she is up on criminal charges, and we're facing that too. So she got the serious consequence the principal said she wanted before they went and did this to the child. So I really want to make sure that our SROs are not handcuffing our kids unless they're violently acting and is absolutely necessary. And that our SROs are not being used by school staff to go after a child like in this one. She had committed no act, well, I'll take it back. She videoed a fight, and she videoed briefly the principal's face. You can't see it unless you watch for it. And for that reason, she was isolated, and then she was attacked and handcuffed. So,
Ms.
I think we're at the
Bacalano,
five-
I think
we're at the 5
your
minutes.
time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Back to the board.
I just want to make a mention that that's not what this policy is about.
Correct.
Just
All right.
to make that mention.
Okay. Is that a motion from Mrs. Shoup? Second, Ms. Howerton. So, Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. 13F through 13I is up for adoption. 13F is consider approval for the education interpreter, communication facilitator's job description. And 13G, H, and I is educational interpreter 1 job description, educational interpreter 2 job description for H, and then I is educational interpreter 3 job description.
Can we confirm that been published?
Yes, sir.
Need a motion second too.
Okay. Do a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, public comment just on this job description. Okay. Board, any other discussion? Okay. Mr. Brantley?
Yes.
Ms. Howerton?
Yes.
Ms. Compton-Twist?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Okay, 15A, consider approval to award contract for chilled water air handler and VAV air terminals pre-purchase specifications for Lake Placid Elementary School to Carrier Corporation SBHC 2122-09.
Make a motion to approve. Nope, I'm sorry. Second, whatever.
So,
Whoever, yeah.
Howerton for a motion and Mrs. Shoup for a second. Okay, public discussion? Back to the board for discussion? Okay, Ms. Howerton,
Yes.
Ms. Shoup,
Yes.
Ms. Compton Twist,
Yes.
Mr. Brantley,
Yes.
and chair votes yes. Okay, any emergency items? Nothing. Any legislative issues? 18, planning and zoning. HCEA or HCESPA members' comments. I didn't think I see anybody out there.
I saw him in the parking lot, and he will be here on Thursday. He said nothing really pertained to him, so he will be here on Thursday.
2 chances this week. So. Okay. School board attorney comments.
Just again, a shout out to our World War II veterans. They're dwindling quickly, but it sure is fun to look at them. And our respects to Senator Bob Dole and all he stood for. And it really meant a lot to me that he got in his wheelchair and came down and talked to those veterans and visited all the what do they call them, you know, in D.C. anyway. So that means a lot to me. The Park Elementary kids and their piñatas on. I'm glad she included that. You know, how many of you ever knew that the stick was love beating the bad things down? I like that. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Howerton.
I'm going to say ditto on what Mr. McClure shared.
Okay. Ms. Brantley.
Yep, same thing. I think sticks is love from here on out. I guess.
Sticks are the most important. Mrs. Compton Twist.
I agree. And the other thing I'd like to mention is that I'm glad we got the opportunity to go to the FSBA conference. Per usual, we learned a lot of things. It's always good to collaborate with other school board members from the other counties to see what other districts are doing, so we can learn and grow in our positions. And I appreciate our community members coming to our meetings. Sometimes we are in few, sometimes we have a lot, so I appreciate those that do come.
Mrs. Shoup.
Ditto what everyone said, and also just want to say that our hearts and prayers go out to the family members and the students in Michigan. I can't think of the actual name of the school or the county, but someone mentioned that I'm sure all the schools will be going over their safety procedures, and I said, well, I think in Florida we're pretty much covered on that, but always good to review. But what a sad situation. And then also at the Florida School Board Association on the last day, Lake Placid was very well represented by the student panel, and it was she was there with some students from Leon High School in Tallahassee and some in Orlando and big schools, and then Lake Placid. And she did a great job. And so is she going to be, I thought they were going to try to be here at the board meeting. Okay, anyway.
We'll keep working on it.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
more than welcome at any time.
Yeah, they did a great job, so we were very well represented.
Okay.
You just say Mrs. Blackman did a very good job too.
Did a great job.
Yeah.
My condolences to the family of Dave Burnham, passed recently this week, and then the family, the Burnham family, of course. And then ditto about the school board conference. Just when I go to these on the state level, the animosity sometimes of other districts, and feel blessed that we're in the position we are to have such a strong board with a lot of experience, and just feel happy to be in a position that we have great leadership in our district, not just board, but amongst the entire school system. So I appreciate everybody's stepping up and being leaders. So at that point, we'll adjourn. Thank you.
Is that Board of Education part of that Rob statement?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it could